Hello everybody and welcome back to another one of these videos where I ramble on about movie theaters. Well, actually this is going to be the last one I make for a long time. I'm not planning to make any one of these videos anytime soon again, but this is the end of the saga, the incredible saga where I talked about movie theaters. My first video that I released about 2 years ago at this point, where I talked about annoying moviegoers inspired by Chris Duckman's video. And then about 2 months ago, I made a video on just how much I miss movie theaters. And now here we are at the end of this amazing trilogy. I know you're very excited. The reason I'm sitting here once again talking about movie theaters is because this felt like a logical conclusion to my previous video, which I made 2 months ago, where I talked about just how much I miss movie theaters. And there were people under that video in the comments telling me, hey, I hope they reopen for you soon, just sending me good wishes. And it did. About 3 or 4 weeks after I made that video, movie theaters reopened, and I actually watched 3 movies on the big screen in the month of October. And today I'm going to be talking about them, because despite the fact that I was excited to go back into the movie theater and I enjoyed those movies, still, there were some factors which really just took me out of the experience a little bit. And I mean, by the title of this video, you already know. But yeah, let's just talk about them. Let's complain about annoying moviegoers for one last time. So the first out of 3 movies I watched on the big screen in the month of October was No Time to Die. I was really excited to watch it. My hopes to watch it on the big screen died a long time ago, but hey, I got lucky. I was able to watch it on the big screen. But, my excitement started to die off pretty quickly as soon as I took my seat in the theater. Because I sat down, and behind me there were a group of, I don't know, youngsters. I'm talking like an old woman. Group of youngsters. Well, there was some just, I don't know, probably like 16, 17-year-old guys. And the one who was sitting behind me was definitely a kid, though. He was like probably like 12 years old. And he was kicking my chair. Yes, that literally the worst freaking thing that can happen to you. It was just kicking my chair constantly, and I just couldn't shut up. I'm not a huge fan of just talking to random people or just saying something, but that's something that I knew that I couldn't take. I just couldn't sit there for the entirety of the movie and just take that. And so before the movie even started, I just turned around. I was like, hey, can you please, be careful? You're kicking my chair. And thankfully he stopped. Although it did happen once or twice after that, but thankfully that issue got resolved pretty quickly. But to say the least, my anxiety level started rising pretty quickly after that. So as I said, there was a group of guys sitting behind me. I think they were all together with that 12-year-old boy. Anyways, they were talking throughout the entirety of the ads, and it's not a good sign when nobody can just shut up while the ads are playing. And so the movie started, and they just kept talking. And immediately I was like, oh, it's happening again. God, what did I do to deserve this? But hey, there was actually a hero among us. Not all heroes wear a cape, and that dude wasn't. He was sitting also near that group. I don't know, maybe behind them or something. I'm not really sure, but he was pretty close to them. And he just couldn't take it. He was like, can we all just shut up, please? And yeah, those guys didn't talk for the rest of the movie at all. Thank you, whoever you are. You literally saved us all. And I'm glad the guys, just decided to shut up after that as well. Because, there are some people who are like, oh, who are you? Just shut up yourself. I'm going to keep talking. Because they think this is their, home or something. But thankfully that didn't happen. And at least I didn't hear any talking for the rest of the movie. But something else was also there to bother me. So that issue got resolved, but there were 2 dudes sitting in front of me that also caused some problems, because one of them specifically was using their phone throughout pretty much like 70% of the runtime of the film. That amazing opening sequence of Bond movies with great music and visuals? How exciting it is to watch that? How it pumps you up for the movie? Well, that dude wasn't even watching that. He was literally playing a freaking mobile game while that was playing. Look, I try not to pay too much attention to mobile screens. That shit happens pretty often. And if the mobile screen isn't super bright to the point where it's blinding my eye, I'm just gonna try to ignore that. But still, since it is a bright screen, in like a dark theater, it immediately your eyes are drawn to that at least a few times. So that's what happened. You know, I would watch it, and every now and then my eyes would catch the screen in front of me, and it was really annoying. And that's why I saw that it was playing again. I'm like, what? Why would you do that? But that's not where it all stopped. And every now and then the guy in front of me would turn on his phone and show memes to the friend next to him. They would exchange memes while No Time to Die was playing on the big screen right in front of them. This is where it becomes just crazy to me. So you came to this movie, you bought a ticket specifically to watch No Time to Die, but you have no interest in it, because if you did, you would be watching the movie. So it's not interesting to you. Then why did you come to the movie theater? If you came to just hang out, watch, look at memes, and just, chat, which they also did, they were just talking. They were mumbling throughout the entire movie. They were shut up occasionally. They weren't talking so loudly, but they would just mumble, which was also a little annoying. So if you came to just chat and look at memes and play mobile games, why would you come to a movie theater? This is literally like the worst environment for that. Just go to a cafe or any other place that's like 5 billion times better suited for that activity. It's crazy. Not only are you bothering others who are there to actually watch the movie and enjoy it, but you're also not in a position to enjoy the things you're doing in the best way possible. It's nonsensical. It's absolutely nonsensical. And I'm tired of this shit. Overall, even with all the minor disturbances, I still actually enjoyed the film. I left the theater pleased enough. It was not an exceptional movie, but I thought it was a satisfying ending to the whole Daniel Craig saga, and I enjoyed it. But let's now talk about the second movie I watched, which was Venom: Let There Be Carnage. Surprisingly enough, during the Venom movie, people were generally quiet. Only towards the end, there was, I think, a couple that was sitting next to my friend, and they started chatting, because why not? Why not start talking while the movie is playing? It's not like we're in a theater, people are trying to watch a movie. Anyways, they started chatting, not super loudly, but I could hear their mumbling a little bit. Thankfully, I wasn't near them, so I couldn't hear them that much, but I knew that it was bothersome for my friend, but at least that was towards the end of the film. As you can see, we have such high standards, but something horrible happened after the movie ended. So the movie ended, and half of the movie theater left. I was like, wait, what? Where are you guys going? Did you forget that superhero movies have like mid-credit and after-credit scenes? Anyways, half of them left, half of them stayed, and so the mid-credit scene starts playing. But there was a group of, I think it was like a 3-4 teenagers. They were pretty close to where I was sitting in the back row. And I don't know why, it's always teenagers ruining everything. I'm like an old lady in this video, like, teenagers ruining everything. Anyways, especially there was this one kid specifically. He decided that it would be really fun to spoil what would happen. So he screamed, hey guys, so this is going to happen now, this is going to happen. And he said it like 5-6 times. And not only that, but he was talking so loudly that I could barely even hear what was happening in the movie. I couldn't hear the dialogue, for Christ's sake. What the hell? Nobody shut him up, by the way. Nobody beat his ass for some reason. Here's the thing. What he did was just, it's crazy to me, like, to just yell out a spoiler. That hasn't happened to me. That hadn't happened to me up until then. Thankfully, I already knew what would happen in the mid-credits scene. I didn't know 100%. Like it's not like I saw a spoiler on my own, but I knew just based on people's reactions what it would be. It's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious what we would see there. So I already expected that. But still, it's still very annoying, the fact that somebody's like, hey, so this is what's gonna happen. Even if I know it, it's still annoying. And not only, okay, I know it. I knew it. But what about others? I mean, if you have no idea about what's going to happen and somebody yells out a freaking spoiler, that's like the most annoying thing that can happen. And it's this stupid thing, like the kids think that, I'm gonna tell my friends that this is what's gonna happen because, hey guys, look, I know about this movie. I know this thing. I know more than you guys. Like, the stupid thing that you think it's cool when you're a kid for some reason. It's just not. Shut up. Let people watch it. Just shut your mouth. Honestly, I didn't even hear what happened on the mid-credit scene. At least I saw what happened. Not like dialogue was crucial, but still. I was just honestly just sitting there kind of like shocked. I'm like, oh, okay. Thanks, kid. And the very last movie I saw on the big screen was Dune. I was very excited for it. It was my most anticipated film of the last year, and then it got delayed to this year, and it was one of the most anticipated movies of this year for me too. I went with a friend. We went into the theater, and as soon as we enter, we see a group of like 6 or 7 kids, aged 13, 14. We look at each other, and we're just like, good luck, man, because we're gonna need it. And of course, our concerns were reasonable. You know why? Because, of course, before even the movie started, while the trailers were playing, they were just talking, making baboon noises. And then the movie started playing, they kept making chimpanzee noises. Because, they think they're quirky. They think they're very funny. They think they're entertaining. Except they're not, because nobody in that theater, except those idiots, nobody was talking. Everybody was there to watch the movie. But those kids, they basically said, hey, you came to watch the movie? Well, not today. We're going to ruin it for you guys. But thankfully, there was a hero among us this time around, too. There was a dude who yelled at them. He was like, shut up, kids, just as the movie started. And thankfully, they did. But for a very short time. Every now and then, as the movie was playing, they would keep talking. They would just start talking. Not only talking, but they were also laughing. And let me tell you, if you haven't seen Dune yet, it's not a comedy. It's not. There are no humorous scenes there. There's nothing funny in Dune. But those kids they found something funny in there. I don't know what. I don't know. They kept talking. The dude kept trying to just, quiet them down. That it didn't work. I mean, one of the kids yelled back at the dude who was like, you shut up, man. I died inside, I was, with all that shit going on in front of me, I was trying to still focus on the movie. I was like, I came to this movie, I was so excited for it. I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna try my best. Thankfully, before the last act started, they left. Now, I'm not exactly sure what happened because, again, I was trying to focus on the movie. But I'm speculating that they were escorted out because I think, if I'm not mistaken, that dude who was trying to, deal with those kids, I think he complained to one of the staff members because I saw, I saw with the corner of my eye that these kids were talking to someone in, the corner of the theater. And so I think they were talking to a staff member and they were escorted out. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe they just left because they were bored. Thankfully, maybe because they saw that nobody cared about their stupid act. I don't know which one was that, but at least they left and I was able to watch the last act just in a quiet environment. The kids left and everything was fine, but there was a dude next to me who, towards the end of the film, a few times, like 2 or 3 times, he for some reason checked his phone. I don't know, I guess to look at the time. Maybe he was bored. I'm not sure. But the brightness of that screen, holy shit. It was so bright. It was literally lighting up the entire theater. I was just shocked. My eyes were blinded by that shit. Like, what's going on, dude? Anyways, in comparison to those kids, though, that was nothing. But still, that was my experience with Dune. Thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody. Having experienced all that, I was once again very disappointed and upset almost because I just remember that each time I go to a movie theater, I have to worry about this shit. That every time, even if it's something minor, somebody or something is going to disturb me and it's going to take me out of the experience. The point of the big screen is that you go into the theater to just completely isolate yourself from the outer world and enjoy whatever is going on the screen for the runtime of the film. And for me, for a person who has a very bad attention span, that's always a great way to focus and enjoy the film. But when stuff like this happens, when somebody's chatting, when somebody's looking at their phone, it takes me out of the experience immediately. Even if for a minute, it completely ruins it, especially for movies like Dune that are specifically designed in a way that it completely sucks you into that whole sci-fi world with amazing visuals and sound design. It's so unfortunate when you don't get to enjoy it the way that it was intended to, because somebody decided to just ruin it for you because they think they're funny, or they just want to do whatever they want, like they're not in a public place. And if you watched my previous video I made on movie theaters 2 months ago, you know that I kept making this point that movies like Dune are made for the big screen, that it wouldn't be the same if I watched it at home. But you know what's sad? After I left the theater, after watching Dune, I thought to myself that, you know what? I probably should have watched it at home. At least in my own house, nobody would disturb me, you know? Yes, the sound design, the visuals were so amazing that Dune is really made for that big screen. But when people are constantly disturbing you, you just don't get to enjoy the story. You don't get to drown in that story, and it's horrible. And another sad part of this is that I was in a very kind of stressed situation before watching Dune. You know, that week before I watched Dune, I was quite stressed. So I was really excited to go into the movie theater and watch Dune and forget about everything going on, to just drown in that sci-fi world. But I wasn't able to, because of all the disturbances, because of all the annoying moviegoers. And that's horrible. So this is how it went for me going back to the movie theaters. As you can see, each experience had a nice cherry on top of it, you know. That's great. I honestly think that I was able to enjoy Bond movie just because it was the first one I saw after a long time. I was excited to go back to the theater, and I was just able to block out all the negative things and just be a naive kid for 5 seconds. But even with that, I mean, it wasn't incredible, right? There were still things that took me out of the experience. So yeah, this is how it was for me. And I'm once again reminded that each time I'm going to watch a new movie on the big screen, that instead of being excited, instead of just getting happy that, hey, I'm going to enjoy this thing, I need to be actually stressed and anxious because somebody 100% is going to ruin it for me. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, annoying moviegoers. Anyways, now I want to hear your opinion. Let's once again continue this conversation of all the horrible experiences we've had, because to this day I still get comments under my video that I made on annoying moviegoers. One comment specifically recently kind of disturbed me, but at the same time I was just... I honestly, now I'm just going to show it probably somewhere here. Honestly, I'm thinking, after all the experiences I've had, I'm thinking maybe I should start doing that. Maybe that's the only thing you can do to make people shut up. Anyways, I'm waiting for your stories. And once again, all the links for my social media accounts, 2 social media accounts, Instagram, Twitter, in the description of this video. Also links for the 2 of my videos on movie theaters, links in the bio for that. And a separate link for just playlists of all the discussion type videos that I do occasionally on this channel. All the links in the description below. You know the drill. You know, if you enjoyed this video, if you made it this far, leave a like as always. And if you don't want to miss my other movie and TV show related videos, subscribe to this channel. Bye.